Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. In trying to figure out what I was going to film for today's video, I decided to go through my YouTube channel and take a look at some of my most popular videos, the things that you guys either liked the most or watched the most, commented on. So I decided to go with an embossing folder card because you guys love embossing folders, and an alcohol ink card because you guys love alcohol inks. But how are we going to make this really cool? So if you watched my video last week, and it seems like a ton of you did, and thank you for being here. If you're new, I really appreciate you. So last week's video, I used acetate with an embossing folder and we turned it into a shaker card. So we're going to do something similar like that again today, except we're going to go even further. We're going to add alcohol ink, we're going to add foil. Guys, it's going to be great. I'm really excited. So let's get started. I have the Simon Says Stamp Tumbled Hexagons embossing folder. If you don't have this, break out whatever embossing folder you have. It doesn't have to be this one. It doesn't even have to be geometric if you don't want it to. Maybe you like flowers or snowflakes, whatever. My whole shtick is you taking the ideas that I share and then making it your own. You don't have to do what I do word for word or style for style or product for product. Use what you got. Interpret it your own way. Play. Have a good time. Okay, so we're going to use the Tumbled Hexagons today. And like last week, I had used these polyacrylic / acetate sheets. And if you missed them in the description box, they're listed under clear bags. They're there, I promise. I had a number of folks ask me about that, but they are there. I actually relisted it and highlighted the word acetate. But these are silly inexpensive. You get like 25 sheets for just over $2. They're really thick. You can hear how thick they are, and they're perfect for what we're going to do today. So I have one of these already cut down. And it is 4 by 5 1/4 because that's what I want my main panel to be. So what we're going to do first is we are going to take this and run it through our die cutting machine. Everybody's die cut machine works a little bit different. There's a lot of different brands out there. Use the sandwich that works for you. I'm going to run this through and then we're going to have a super textural piece of acetate. All right, here we go. Take a look at that. Isn't that fabulous? I mean, this is cool just the way it is. You don't have to do anything else to it, but I like to push the envelope a little bit, so that's what we're going to do. I pulled out a few colors of alcohol ink. I have Sienna, Dijon, and Laguna. We're going for kind of a steampunky feel, but not. I'm not like throwing gears on here or anything. We're not adding any Victorian flavor. I just like the colors of steampunk. I like that style and genre, so that's what we're going for. I'm going to flip this over. You can do the top if you want to, but I'm going to explain to you why I decided to go on the back later, because I did do a test run on this technique before I started filming. This is one of the times I wish my glass mat was white. So I've got this piece of, it's like a skinny acrylic block with a piece of white cardstock underneath so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. I know that this is kind of a hot mess, but you'll be able to see it better on this than on the black. All right, so I'm going to just start adding some alcohol ink to this piece. I've got my blending solution nearby. We're going to add a lot of that. I've got my little blower tool as well. And we're just kind of dropping this color. We're trying to drop this color all over this panel. I'm going to wind up adding more sienna, I think. Actually, I'll probably wind up adding more of all the colors because, you know, can you overdo it? Can you overdo color? Not really. Okay, I'm just using this. This was originally made for markers. That's what this is for. It turns a marker into an airbrush. I don't have the new blower tool from Ranger. I just have this guy, and this works just fine. And actually, for me, I like this size better than the other one. It's a little too big, the other guy, for me. I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, so it makes certain things difficult for me. It's a connective tissue disorder, plus I have osteoarthritis, and having this smaller bulb to squeeze is better for me. And it's pretty easy on the hands. So if you can locate this, I think that We Are Memory Keepers has one like it. It's just different colors. But if you can find one of those, that would be great. I'll see if I can find one and link it in the description box. Look at this. This is looking really cool already. I love how we've got this like mossy green thing happening. It's really pretty. A little bit more of the sienna though. I feel like we need some more of that. Just kind of adding this color. I don't like that this is devoid of color, so we're going to add a little bit more. I think we'll go in with this, the Dijon. There we go. And then just push it around some more. This will take a few seconds to dry. If you want to speed up the process, you can try to use a heat tool of some kind. You just don't want to melt your acetate. I think that we need some more of this. See, this is a process where you just have to kind of go with it. You can't expect it to be done necessarily in 30 seconds. You want to spend some time, move the color around, go back and forth. You see how I'm going back and forth with the blower tool? I actually have a whole video, actually I've got a couple, let's be honest, on using this kind of blower tool and getting like wispy alcohol ink effects. I'll link it in the description box below. It's an older video of mine, but it has been something that's helped folks before. So I'm not liking this. This is a little bit much. So we're going to grab some isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to just kind of splatter it on here and see if we can break some of that up. I went a little too heavy with the inks because I'm chatting with all of you. So that's better. I like this. Let's flip it over and see what it looks like. Check that out. That is cool. I'm still not loving the color over here. I'm going to see if I can break it up a little further. I'm going to add a drop of Dijon and see if that helps. Yeah, that's better. It was just too brown in that one corner. Let's see how that looks now. That's much better. Much better. I like that a lot. Isn't that cool? And like I said before, we're going to turn this into a shaker card. You don't have to, but if I can make a shaker card, I'm going to make a shaker card. All right, so I'm going to let this sit for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to, I got to drop here, and then we're going to move on to the next fun technique. All right, let's let this dry. All right, this is dry, but it's also really tacky. So how are we going to remedy that? Grab some Deco foil. It doesn't really matter what color you have, even if it clashes, because what we're going to do, it's really not going to make a difference. So grab a piece of Deco foil. I happen to be using rose gold, but again, it's not really going to matter. I've got a thin strip here, and I'm going to just burnish it across the whole panel. And what's going to happen is any place that it's really sticky, the foil is going to adhere to it. I'll hold it up for you in a minute. And we're just going to work our way down. Just burnish it really well with your fingers. If you can. If you can't do it with your fingers, then grab like a bone folder. You can try doing it this way. If you have some type of pressing tool for stamping, you can do that. I don't really want to use this because I don't want to take a chance and get any alcohol ink on the felt on the bottom. But use what works with your hand, your fingers. Okay, let's take a look at how this looks. Do you see that beautiful foiling? Now, the reason I said don't worry about what color it is because this is technically the back. You can use this side, but I find that it's gonna stay a little, I hate to say it's sticky, it might be a little tacky, and it might not feel the best to your recipient when they receive it. So we're gonna wind up flipping it over and using this side. And now, because the foil is silver on this side, on the back, it's going to kind of highlight, take a look right here, highlight whatever color is on top of it. All right, so in this case, it's the sienna, so it's making it look like it's a metallic sienna. So I'm gonna finish working on this, and then we'll start building our shaker. So I'm done with adding foil to this panel, and if I hold it up with the white cardstock underneath, I think that you can see how it really makes it look like the alcohol ink has been foiled. And it kind of has. You know, alcohol ink is transparent, so you can see that foil underneath, and it makes it the same color as the alcohol ink on top, because the silver side is what's showing, since this side has the rose gold. I want to show you my test piece. It looks, I mean, this is why I love alcohol ink, because you never really know how it's going to work out. You know, this has a lot more brown. Again, I was chatting with you guys, so I went a little heavy with the alcohol ink. I think we might actually use this one because it's a little lighter, and I like them both. I'll wind up making cards out of both of them, but I think I want to use this one. Look at all of that foil that's showing. Can you see it on this side here? I'm sorry that it keeps getting a glare, but I want you to see the foil. It's even prettier in person, and I hope that when I'm done with this, I can photograph it well enough for you to see. So now I'm trying to decide, do I want to go with this one or do I want to use this one? I really want to use this one because these colors are just gorgeous. This is too, but we're going to go with that one. Okay, anyway, I'm going to move my Deco foil off to the side. So we have to figure out a couple of things now, right? So do we want to use white behind this? I really don't. It's too clean. I don't want to use white. So instead, I've got this like creamy bone ivory color, and it's dulled down really nicely, and I love that. It's super grungy and cool, and it works really well with the look that I'm going for. In addition, I've got to make my frame like we did last time, and there's a billion ways to make shaker cards. I've got a bunch of videos here on YouTube. There's even more of them on Facebook when I did Facebook Lives for Jules Paper Playground. But we're going to do it similar to how we did last week. So I'm going to make a frame. I'm going to use this brown cardstock. I'm going to cut this down with this die and then use this one to make a fat frame to go around the whole thing. These are from Elizabeth Craft Designs. These particular dies are no longer available, but they're just rectangles, you guys. Use whatever you've got. And then we'll build the shaker. Okay, this is all cut out, and now we can start putting everything together. So why am I doing another shaker card? Well, first of all, it's been a while since I made a bunch of shaker cards, and I really do love making them. Also, last week's was a pretty feminine card, and I wanted to make something that was more for anybody or more masculine. That doesn't mean it has to be for a guy. I would love this card. My mother would love this card. But sometimes people struggle with cards for guys, and especially a shaker card for a guy. Who does that? Well, I do. And you can too. So that's what we're doing today. I've got my tear it tape. I love this tape. It's from Imagine. I'm going to just burnish this down just to make sure that it sticks and the release paper comes up as easy as possible. And then we're going to add our acetate to that. I don't like using wet adhesive when I'm adhering acetate. I find that it's too wiggly. It doesn't usually stay. You know, it might stick for a little while, but then in a few days it comes off. And who wants their shaker to fall apart? Not me. And I'm sure not you. And again, if you don't want to make this a shaker, you don't have to. You can just, you know, build this frame, attach it right to the card base, and call it a day. But I like to go as far as I can. Okay. I'm adding this to that. Push this down. Make sure it's stuck really well. Now remember, you know, the color is on the back. We've got the silver showing through. Look at how cool that is. You can't really see it. Hold on. Look at how cool that is. I love it. I love it. Oh, you know what I wanted to do though? I was going to run this through with the embossing folder after I die cut it to give it even more texture. Should I still do that? The answer is yes. So I stopped filming, and off screen I cut a new frame, and then I ran it through the embossing folder, and seriously, it just keeps the story going here. However, it's a little flat. So I've got these metallic Rub-Ons, and I think we're going to use this coppery color, and we're going to add some of that with our finger. I know, here it goes Alison with finger painting again. I told you guys last week that I really like to use my fingers for this type of thing, and that's what we're doing again. I'm sorry if it's not your style. You could try using a brush, but I find that it's really just easier to use your fingers. Look at that. I mean, come on. Seriously. I love it. Okay. So I'm just going to go around this whole frame. I'm not going super heavy, and I don't want to cover the frame. I just want to highlight the texture of the hexagons. You want to be careful because it is a thin frame, so you don't want to, you know, kind of wiggle it too much because it could rip, and then you'll have to start over. It's a little tricky to see in the light at the moment. I'll hold it up to the camera as soon as I'm done, but this is going to really make the hexagons even more impactful, I think. I love hexagons. They're like my favorite shape. They're one of my favorite shapes. They're one of my most used shapes in paper crafting, for sure. Especially because I love bees. I use a lot of bees. Okay, we're almost done. A little bit more over here. But you can see that this is a really quick process to just add a little bit more shine. Oh, I love this. That is really cool. Okay. Wipe this off on my cloth here. All right. So now we've got to attach this to this. And that is so rad. Do I want it like that? Or do I want it this way? It really doesn't matter. I like it the other way. Okay. I'll probably forget that in the 30 seconds it takes for me to adhere this to the panel. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, if you're new here, thank you so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. Trying to grow this channel has been quite a process, but I'm happy that you guys are here and commenting and all that. It's very much appreciated. I hope that the things that I show you help you in your crafting experience. Okay. Remove the release paper again. And then we're going to have to line this baby up. We could have used wet adhesive for this, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Do I remember what direction I wanted? No, probably not. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I have to make sure that I line this up because I may have misaligned the rectangles a bit when I cut out the center because, you know, I cut them out at separate times. So we're going to just have to finagle this a little bit and make sure that it fits properly. Because I don't really want the frame that's underneath to show if I can help it. That's not too bad. We might have to trim off a little bit here and here, but it's really not terrible. Okay. No one will know but us. Don't tell anybody else. Okay, so I'm going to trim this. I'm going to make sure I get it underneath that new piece of cardstock. Trim that just a bit. That's really not bad. Huh. All right, cool. So now we have this and this. And lots of scrap paper from the release paper. Okay. Now we need to build a shaker. So I've got my foam tape from scrapbook.com. I am going to put this around the entire edge. We want to make sure that we don't have any gaps. If we have gaps, then our shaker bits can fall out. And we don't want that. Okay. It's a little easier for me to have it off the roll. I don't know about you. And you also want to make sure, again, it's tough to see on the black, but don't have your foam coming into where it's just acetate. You want to make sure that it's still on the brown, but try to get it close so that your sequence doesn't fall behind the frame. You want to be able to see it the whole time. Just going around. See how it's butted up against the other piece? This way I know nothing's going to fall out. Okay, that is pretty good. I have just a little bit left that can be used for something else. And now, you see how that's overlapping? I'm going to just kind of push it in with my nail, kind of tuck it down in there. Because it's foam, so it's squishy. So you can kind of play with it a little bit, but now I know it's not going to create a space. Okay, now we need sequins. Let's flip this over. Okay. All right, we've got our sequins here, and this storage box is from Daiso. I'll have it linked in my description box below. They're not all over the country, so you might not be able to have one near you, and my apologies, but if you have one near you, I highly recommend you check them out. Okay, so all of this card bling is from A Colorful Life Designs. The colors are ridiculous. Make sure you check out my video that's coming out tomorrow, because it will be June 1st. Holy cow, I can't believe it's going to be June. I'll have the release up here on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm loving this Crystal Iris Clementine. I think that that's really good. That's a little dark. This might be fun. Crystal Metallic Splash. We used that last week. Do I have kind of a Dijon-y color? No, I don't think so, but that's okay. We don't really need one. I thought I had... See, this is why some people organize theirs. And I usually have sequins organized, but in this case, I just like rummaging through the bags. We have this satin matte gold. I don't love that. I think that we're going to go with the Crystal Iris Clementine and the Crystal Metallic Splash, and that'll be good to go. Okay. Oh, what's this? Crystal Metallic Flamenco. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that too. All right. So now we are going to add our sequins into here. Try not to make a total mess, and I'm going to try not to have it stick to my foam tape like I did last time. Ooh, they're jumping. They're excited. Okay. Just a bit of this one. A couple more. Okay. Close these off before I spill them everywhere, because that is going to happen. And we don't need that. Oh, this guy is sticking. He's insisting that he goes into the card. Come on, fella. There we go. All right. Now, we are going to remove the release paper, oh so carefully. And then we're going to take our colored cardstock that we have here, and we're going to apply it carefully to the back to seal off this shaker. Okay, that's pretty good this time. No mess. All right, deep breath, everybody. So this is this is a textured cardstock. This is super old. I use a ton of old stuff, you guys. I used to have a store, and I have a lot of things left from it. So I had a scrapbooking and stamping store, and this paper was from that. Okay, push, push, push. Ready? Ta-da! Look at how cool that is. And granted, in some areas you can't really tell what the colors of the sequins are, but it doesn't matter. Over here you can see it. It's about the sound. Listen. It's about the sound. It's about the shine. I love this. Okay, card base time. So, because we made this panel a full A2 size card front, we don't need to do anything to the card base itself. What we are going to do, though, is add kind of a main sentiment like we did last time, but I'm going to leave off the sub-sentiment because I really like doing that, having a focal sentiment, and then later on I'll add something else. And I've already got one picked out. It's one that I use all the time. It's one of my most used dyes ever. It's the Dude from CZ Design and Simon Says Stamp. Because I just love it. I say dude all the time. Everybody's a dude. It doesn't matter what your gender is. I say dude a lot. Okay, I just took a breath because I had to line this up. All right. Guys, I'm loving this. See, I say guys and dude. If you're non-binary, it covers you as well. Please don't be offended if I say dude or guys to you, because it's for everyone. Okay. We have the Dude. You can see I've got foil on here. It's a well-loved die set. It really is. Okay. What do I have? I have a bunch of scraps in here that are already cut. We're probably not going to use any of them, although this cream might be perfect. Let's see. It's stuck to itself. Oh. I'm digging that. Okay. I like it. And then we can use brown to make the main part, and then we'll see how that looks. I'm going to die cut that. This is the main one. I'm going to die cut it with the same brown we have here, and then we'll see how we like it. So I cut it out of the brown, and this is the cream that I had, but it's a little too bright because this color is duller. So I just grabbed the same cardstock that I used for the backer, and I cut it out of that. And you might think I'm crazy, but there is a real difference there. So I need to just use the same one. I just think it makes it more cohesive. So we could attach it down here and then have a sub-sentiment above when we decide to put one, but I think that I'd rather have it here so that we have the ability to put it below, above, whatever. So I think that that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to adhere this. I got my Barely Arts glue out again, and we're going to just stick this down. And I know that I'm using a wet medium at the moment, but I'm probably going to use a dry adhesive. Not medium. Why am I saying medium? We're using a wet adhesive at the moment, but I'll probably use something dry on the back of this because so much of it will be on the acetate or acrylic. Because like I said earlier, I really prefer to use a dry adhesive on acrylic or acetate. Okay, that is too far over. All right, we're going to do this again, but off camera, so you don't have to watch me glue things some more. I used some red line tape on the back. You can see that I peeled everything away except for this one piece. This is 1/8 of an inch. Really useful size to have. I use it quite a bit. And now we can attach. There is red line backer tape everywhere. We can attach our dude. I think that that's a good spot. Get it sort of straight. There we go. My friends, this is it. Our card is done. This was a lot of fun. I hope that you... Look, see? More tape. I hope that you have enjoyed this process as much as I have. And that you like the techniques and how we amped up last week's card to make this one. This is a lot of fun. And I gotta say, I bet a lot of the dudes in your life would like this card. If for nothing else, the cool sound. You know? All right, that's it for me. I will be back real soon with another video. I hope to see you then. Be well, stay safe, peace out.